just want to say this. First and foremost, there's no shame, no embarrassment in getting packed out, getting beat up. As long as you fight, you're respected. Now, did King fight? We don't know. I'm going to tell you my personal opinion about T.I.'s son, King.
I don't have no gang. I ain't in no gang. I got family. I got motherfuckers who willing to risk their lives and freedom to die by me and mine. You hear me? Well, don't fucking play with me, man. Don't play with my motherfucking child, ever.
King Harris has officially hit rock bottom. His father, T.I., warned him this day would come. And now that warning has turned into a harsh reality. The same kid who once walked around like nothing could touch him is now locked behind bars, stripped of his fame, freedom, and pride. Reports say King is begging for help after crossing the wrong people in jail. And according to inside sources, those inmates weren't after a simple fight. They wanted to send a message. Word inside says the gangs marked him not just to rough him up, but to silence him for good. Picture it. A once cocky 20-year-old pacing back and forth in a cold, gray county cell. The sound of the steel door slamming behind him echoing like thunder.
What you want to do? What you want to do? You from here?
Yeah, I'm from here. Yeah, I'm from here.
All right, so.
Oh, hell yeah, let's go.
What's up with you, bro? What's up with you, bro?
Let's go.
Putting your hand around me, talking out your ass like you want to do something. What's up, bro?
Oh, Lord.
What's up, bro?
Nothing.
What? Relax or what?
Nothing.
Or what? Or what?
Nothing.
Or what? Because you just tried to
This could be a game.
Keep out your business, my nigga. Keep out your business,
I think he wants you to pick.
His confidence drained out of him like air from a punctured tire. Insiders say that's when King finally broke, calling his father in pure panic and desperation. Just months earlier, he was online flashing weapons, talking tough, mocking anyone who called him soft. But behind those walls, the internet bravado vanished quick. No Wi-Fi, no cameras, no audience. Just the eerie quiet of men who've lived through worse. The same men who don't care who your daddy is. In there, there's no luxury, no fame, no safety net. Sources say King's trouble began when he cracked a joke at the wrong time, clowning older inmates like he was still performing for social media. But this wasn't a Waffle House parking lot. There were no fans cheering, no phones recording, no laughs, just hardened convicts watching a rich kid test respect. Once they realized he was T.I.'s son, everything flipped. The energy changed in an instant. Some inmates wanted clout, others wanted revenge for T.I.'s past, and a few just wanted to make an example out of hip-hop royalty. Scared and out of his depth, King reportedly rushed to the phones, his voice shaking as he called his father, Clifford T.I. Harris. "Wait till I get back and see him," T.I. muttered in one chilling call. His tone caught somewhere between anger and heartbreak.
I already know that when you come to jail, everybody jealous of what you done had in your life. That's just part of the culture. Like, I wish I would have had.
What came next was fear, real, unfiltered fear. For the first time in his life, King Harris learned the truth his father had been trying to teach him for years. Fame doesn't buy protection, and no last name can save you once those bars slam shut. To understand how everything spiraled out of control, we need to rewind to October 2024. King wasn't caught in a gang bust or a high-speed chase through Atlanta. It started in the quiet suburbs, just miles from the life of luxury he grew up in. Picture it, King stepping out of a gas station in his black BMW, music blaring, head high, thinking he was untouchable.
Behind steel bars.
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
No, brother.
All right, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety. You gotta take.
There's no safety.
It all went downhill in a heartbeat. King Harris was cruising through Atlanta, music thumping, ego in full swing, until he nearly clipped a police cruiser. One bad turn, and suddenly those red and blue lights flashed behind him like fate catching up. When the officers walked up, they said the smell of weed hit them before they even reached the window, and the sight of weapons sitting in plain view sealed his fate. They ran his name, and instantly, a bench warrant lit up on the screen. Old charges he had ignored for months. In seconds, the son of a hip-hop legend was on the ground, face pressed to the asphalt, handcuffed and filmed by onlookers. By morning, the footage was everywhere. TMZ, YouTube, Twitter. The world saw King Harris, looking half stunned and half smug as flashlights hit his face. The video spread fast, sparking one question across social media. If you were T.I., would you rush to rescue your son again, or finally let him face what he built? Because this moment wasn't just another celebrity arrest, it was the beginning of something deeper. A father's warnings slamming headfirst into his son's pride. At first, the clip almost felt like a joke. King stayed composed, calm, even polite, as if he had rehearsed for the cameras. When officers asked about the weapons, he didn't flinch. "You're going to find my guns," he said, with a strange mix of confidence and carelessness, like he was talking about snacks in the glove box instead of firearms. By sunrise, his lawyers had softened the charges, and he was out again. Another rich kid slipping through the cracks. But the damage was already done. Headlines screamed, "T.I.'s son arrested with guns and weed." Every gossip blog echoed the same bitter punchline. The son of a man who escaped the streets was now running back toward them.
No motherfucking way. They got the wrong man, wrong guy. What the fuck is that? They got drones flying and shit.
That was the cruel twist. The kid born in comfort was chasing chaos his father barely survived. It hit deep because everyone saw what T.I. had feared for years. King wasn't rebelling anymore, he was self-destructing. The legal case might have cooled off fast, but the cultural firestorm lit up overnight. Bodycam footage turned him into a meme, a walking contradiction, a privileged kid chasing street validation he never earned. The internet laughed, the streets watched, but inside the county jail, the story took a darker turn. Whispers started that King didn't just spend one harmless night behind bars. He crossed paths with the wrong people, and that's when things got real. Jail isn't social media. In there, respect isn't given, it's tested. And if you run your mouth, you pay the price. King, still charged up from his online persona, reportedly came in loud, cocky, talking slick, maybe even dropping his father's name like it was a shield. But behind those cold steel doors, arrogance is a liability. You don't win by being tough, you survive by being smart. Within hours, inmates started murmuring. They had their eyes on the famous kid, who thought he was untouchable. Some wanted to test him, some wanted to humble him, others just wanted to make an example out of a rapper's son who didn't yet understand the rules. And that was when King Harris realized the truth. Fame might open doors in the free world, but behind bars, it only paints a bigger target on your back.
And he told me that it was okay. So that's the only time. Any other time, I don't even call the police like for accidents. It ain't even no 911 call with my voice on it. I don't break in my house.
That's T.I.'s boy right there. Those 5 words were all it took to shift the energy. Some inmates saw an opportunity to earn respect. Others saw unfinished business from the streets. Overnight, King Harris went from just another inmate to a symbol. Every move he made carried weight. Every word he spoke echoed louder than it should have. Because now he wasn't just representing himself, he was representing the entire Harris family name. One slip-up could stain his father's legacy. Not even Atlanta's pride could shield him this time. Behind those walls, things turned dark fast. Sources said King was cornered by men who weren't looking for a fight. They were looking to prove a point. This wasn't about internet clout or quick fades in the showers. This was a message written in fear. Fame means nothing in here. That's when the panic finally hit. The fake confidence drained from his face. The smirk disappeared. All the talk about being built for this vanished into silence. Whispers spread like wildfire through the block. Crews were plotting. Not to jump him, but to take him out completely. That's when King broke. Voice shaking, he ran to the jail phones, begging his father to step in. He pleaded for help, desperate for anyone on the outside to pull strings, spend money, or call in favors to make the threat disappear. The problem was, all those reckless words he had been throwing around online had finally come back to collect. The debt was due, and this time it wasn't money they wanted. It was blood or silence. For years, T.I. had warned him that the street fantasy always ended the same way, either behind bars or in the ground. But like most stubborn young men, King thought he was the exception. It was the same pride that flared up during that viral Falcons game in 2023. The one where father and son nearly turned a VIP suite into a brawl. King yelled that he hadn't grown up with privilege, claiming he was raised at his grandma's, not in the luxury mansion his parents shared. In that moment, everyone saw the truth. This wasn't just rebellion anymore. It was a son trying to outgrow his father's shadow and losing himself in the process.
The only one on here who got bad-ass kids.
We all go through.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you ain't got no bad-ass kids, you got one and you got lucky. You hear me? Anybody with 3 or more,
multiples,
you got one that you don't know what the hell you gonna do.
He wanted to prove he was real, raw, gritty. The kind of man who earned respect in the trenches. But while King was chasing a struggle, he thought defined manhood. T.I. stood in silence, watching his son run headfirst toward the same darkness he had fought his whole life to escape. He had worn those cuffs. He had heard those steel doors slam. He knew the danger his son was now treating like a game. So when that desperate call came from behind bars, King's voice cracking as he begged for help, the irony hit harder than ever. The same son who rolled his eyes at every warning was now pleading with the man he once swore he did not need. This time, T.I. did not post a thing. No rants, no statements, no pity, just silence. The kind of silence that speaks louder than words. But behind closed doors, chaos was brewing. Phones ringing nonstop, lawyers called. Old connections reignited. Sources say T.I. even reached deep into Atlanta's underworld, calling in favors from people who owed him respect. Every move was calculated, every string pulled. This was not about saving a reckless kid. It was about protecting the Harris legacy. For T.I., this was redemption, a chance to stop a prophecy he saw coming, long before King ever did. Because if there is one truth T.I. learned the hard way, it is that fame does not make you bulletproof. It makes you a bigger target, and that is exactly what King had become. Behind those bars, his name wasn't a shield, it was bait. The whispers inside grew louder, painting a grim picture. This wasn't just hazing or intimidation. It was a setup. Gangs inside wanted more than to humble him. They wanted to erase him completely. Because in jail politics, taking down the son of a celebrity is like striking gold. Instant clout. Instant respect. A shortcut to legend status inside those walls. For some of those men, King wasn't just a kid with a famous father. He was a symbol of everything they hated. Privilege, fame, and success they could never reach. But what made things worse, according to insiders, was that King helped dig his own grave. They said he mocked older inmates, bragged about his money, and strutted around like he still had a camera on him. Until someone finally whispered, "That's T.I.'s boy." That single sentence flipped the entire cell block. The air grew heavy. The tension turned deadly. King was no longer a loudmouth young inmate. He was now a walking target.
I can't judge how the parenting is gone, because everything that we've seen has been stuff that many of us would have said or similar if we saw our children do this. But I will say this. A lot of what's happening is because it's in the public. Like most children don't have.
Every ounce of resentment those men held for fame and privilege poured into one target, King Harris. To them, he wasn't just another inmate. He was a message, a way to prove that no amount of money or status could protect a man inside. That was when T.I. reportedly went into full-blown panic mode behind the scenes. This was no longer about bail or lawyers, this was survival. Because in that world, power doesn't come from contracts or courtrooms. It comes from fear, silence, and the favors you can call in before time runs out. "You don't know what you're dealing with," one insider said, describing how deep things really got. The reality was brutal. King Harris had spent years trying to prove he was real, but now reality itself was breaking him apart. And the timing made it even more tragic. Just months earlier, in late 2024, King had become a father. Holding his baby boy, King Jr., was supposed to be his wake-up call, his moment to change. But instead, The same old cycle returned, exactly like T.I. had warned. One generation escaped the trap, only to watch the next one run right back into it. For T.I., this was no longer about pride or image. It was about breaking a curse, about proving that hip-hop royalty could raise sons who do not crash chasing the same street validation their fathers barely survived. The crossroads are clear now. King can rise, become a man, a father, an artist with purpose, or he can fall, just like so many before him. Because those gangs inside are not waiting for his next mixtape. They are waiting for his next mistake. And in there, mistakes are fatal. So the real question isn't just whether King Harris survives jail. It's whether he survives the cycle. Can he finally break free from it? Or will he become another headline? Another story of fame, pride, and self-destruction? Drop your thoughts below. Share your take and hit that subscribe button. Because this story isn't over. Every day brings new whispers, new danger, and new moves. The Harris legacy is hanging by a thread, and the ending has yet to be written.